We're talking boxing. Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder. And basically, what I saw with Malik Scott, with Deontay Wilder, is interesting. The strategy, the game plan. If Tyson Fury wants to press the attack, sort of like what Keith Thurman says, and sort of like what Manny Pacquiao does, Deontay Wilder will seek to counter the attack that Tyson Fury presses with. So if Tyson Fury is coming forward this way to Deontay Wilder is going to adopt the posture of looking to slip whatever Tyson Fury throws, but slip to the inside or slip back to the outside. He may slip the other way, depending on Tyson Fury's trying to throw his jab right hand, and he will counter. All right. So, and then he will disengage, or as we say, he will pivot out the way. And I was looking at what Deontay Wilder is doing, and it's a very good strategy for Tyson Fury, because when you have a bigger fighter come at you and they can close the distance on you because of their reach or whatever, you must be able to slip shots. You must be able to roll in on them or roll out on them. Deontay Wilder is going to be the smaller guy in this equation, so he should fight more like a smaller guy to some degree. Stay behind his fundamentals, stay behind his jab, and fight Tyson Fury that way. So, in short, what I'm saying is countering Tyson Fury may be a better idea, at least initially in the fight. If Tyson Fury says he's coming at Deontay Wilder, he's coming to fight him and stuff, countering him may be a good way to start it all off. And I believe that's something that Jared Adams was doing with Tyson Fury and giving Tyson Fury the fits, because Jared Adams probably was counterpunching him as well. And so Deontay Wilder is a natural counterpuncher by nature. People don't know this. If you look at him, he really gets most of his knockouts countering guys. So that's actually a good way for Deontay Wilder to go. So a lot of people are saying that Deontay Wilder, he needs to press the attack. He needs to always be on the front foot to keep Tyson Fury on the back foot. But actually, if Tyson Fury is going to come out aggressive like he said he's going to come out, it might be in Deontay Wilder's interest to fight off the back foot, laterally pivoting and all that kind of stuff, and do what he do best, counterpunch. That's what really Deontay Wilder is a counterpuncher to heart. He likes to catch you on the offbeat. He likes to ambush you and catch you with very quick shots, like what he did to Dominic Breazeale. Just kind of skipped in there and landed upon. Actually, the same thing he did to Tyson Fury as well. Skipped in there and landed that quick right hand on you. First, he started off with the jab or a left hook, and then the right hand or right hand left hook. Okay, he's very quick. He's very athletic. His speed and quickness, he should use that to his advantage in this fight. So, to make this fight a lot more competitive and close, and to make Tyson Fury make more adjustments, Deontay Wilder simply needs to use his pivot work, needs to use his feet. And that's basically what he's been running those drills with. He's basically been running the things that he's always been good at doing, but now he's running them as drills. So he's making sure to have much more of an all-around game. So there's nothing new that Deontay Wilder is bringing to the table in terms of his skill sets. He's not learning any new skill sets or anything. It's just that he is refining some of the skill sets that he had all along that he wasn't using in his forte. Straight Fighter says, "What up, brother? Brother, what up with you?" So I think that game plan is a very, very smart game plan. If the bigger guy want to come to you, you have something for him sitting down there waiting on him. Counterpunch him and then get out of the way. Move. That's the best strategy. So Tyson Fury wouldn't be able to punch you and lock up, or hit you with a 1-2 and lock up on you. You change the angle so he can't. Kind of like what Usyk was doing to Anthony Joshua, but not letting Anthony Joshua settle. Well, the same thing Deontay Wilder needs to do. Not stand in front of Tyson Fury, but actually use his body movement and his athleticism to change the angles constantly on Tyson Fury, so Tyson Fury can't just come boring in on him, which is a clever way, because Tyson Fury is going to want to walk down Deontay Wilder. Straight Fighter says, "You shared my video. Thank you." Yeah, man, no problem, man. No problem at all. That's what I do. So, when I see good videos, when I see good content, I will always share it. and your content was very good, so I definitely have to share it on this channel. Um, and just shout out to each and every one of the subscribers out there. Don't forget you can also donate via Western Union or MoneyGram to my channel. But getting back to it, so Deontay Wilder actually, and him and Malik Scott, they got a good game plan. You know, and they're going to be going to Tyson Fury's body, obviously. That's part of the game plan, and how they're going to go about doing that. As they said, they're going to mask it a bit, dress up the shots to get the feint work in there and to land a body punch. So, for example, I'm going to give you a simple example of what they have been drilling, right? So Tyson Fury is walking to Deontay Wilder, popping that jab, right? He's walking to him, popping the jab. But Deontay Wilder, right? Deontay Wilder, if Tyson Fury does this, maybe double jabs him, whoop, whoop, and then he comes with the right hand, Deontay Wilder will slip. He'll slip to this side then, slip, right? So the double jab, slip on this side, come to this side, and when he comes with the right hand coming down the center, you catch him with a left hook right here. See? Double left hook, I think he did. Doop, doop. And sometimes he may slip on this side, right? And come back with the right, come back with the left hook, right hand. Then you come back here. And that's stuff that I've seen Wilder looking to do. Is basically counter Tyson Fury more. And I think that's a good idea. I mean, now some people are talking about the jab. You know, I was listening to a guy who's talking about the double jab and Tyson Fury to his chest as he's coming in. That's cool too. You can slip and throw the jab at the same time. So Tyson Fury, he throws his jab, maybe a double jab, and instead of just slipping him, right? And notice when I slip, I got this hand here to parry the shot, the jab, just in case, because the jab's going to go by me here. I may respond by either coming over the top with the right hand, but that's risky because his right hand could be coming down on me. Or I slip him, I parry off the jab, and I pop my double jab. Pop, pop, right? In on it. So, there are different things you can do up in there. Let me just... Straight Fighter says, I'm a big Ruben Hurricane Carter fan. Ruben Carter, yeah. That's I realize that. 1 second here. You got to see my highlights of him. He's very overlooked and underrated fighter. Yeah, he's a good fighter, man. Good fighter from back in the day. I think who did he face? He's like around the time of all these guys, Charlie Burley and all these guys. Right? Was it that time? I can't remember. But Hurricane Carter, good fighter. Was he? Or I'm mixing up stuff. Or is he around the time? He was around the time. Sorry, no, he was after. He was with what's this guy's name? Hagler. He was in Hagler's time. Hagler. Oh, he was in there. Okay, I was right. So Dick Tiger, Georgie Benton. Okay. Benny Briscoe. Yeah, Joey Giardello. Okay. Hurricane Carter, right. He was a little bit after. Right. Was he did he ever face Hagler? Carlos Monzon and them guys, right? Did he ever face Hagler? Actually, Monzon was after. No, Hagler, Monzon and those guys were after. That's right. Dick Tiger, you're talking Dick Tiger, Emil Griffith, the guy Dick Tiger beat, Gene Fulmer, Giardello, and what's the other guy name? He was a super welterweight. I think the first WBA, WBC super welterweight title champion. Whatever his name is, I can't remember. He was he a Joey as well? Can't remember. Yeah, okay. I got you. Yeah, Hurricane Carter. Ruben Carter. Yeah, I know him. Good fighter. Yeah, man. Want to just talk about those little things, those little strategies that Deontay Wilder will be implementing for sure. So he's gonna have more depth, more dimension to his game. Like I said before, I think Tyson Fury caught him off guard the first time. In the second fight, caught him off guard, and people are talking about all kinds of other things, but I think it's just that he thought he was just gonna hunt down Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury fight off the back foot. But if he did recall, Tyson Fury was bullying him in the last rounds of the first fight. So he should have understood that and understood that Tyson Fury was going to come for him. And this time around, Tyson Fury is going to come for him again. But remember, Tyson Fury had been facing Jared Adams, who is an excellent fighter, up and coming fighter. So he's going to be expecting and anticipating some of the things that Malik Scott is training Deontay Wilder to do as well. So all of these things we got to put in context, because remember, Tyson Fury is a boxer. So, but I think that Deontay Wilder, now what would have really worked, and Deontay Wilder can infight a little bit. I've seen him fight on the inside as well. But I think he doesn't want Tyson Fury pressing up on him body to body, even though you could see he was doing weight training to deal with that extra weight. And that's what a lot of people don't realize. Guys do weight train in boxing. Lots of guys, I remember Sean Porter actually weight trained for his fight with Errol Spence Jr. to get some more juice, more strength, more power, and everything. So weight training is not a bad thing either. And remember, Deontay Wilder is giving up a lot of weight to Tyson Fury, right? He's giving up a lot of mass to Tyson Fury. And even though he's bulked up a bit and he's strong, he's still giving up quite a lot of mass to Tyson Fury. So you have to bear that in mind. But I always tell Deontay Wilder, or I'll tell anybody else to increase their chances against Tyson Fury. I always want to encourage Deontay Wilder to keep the lower ground. What I mean by that is, if you ever end up in a clinch with Tyson Fury, get under him. All right? Get under him. He's going to be side on as well. He may be side on this way, or he may be side on this way. But you want to get up and under him here. You don't want to be above him. You don't want to have him pushing you back and your head's up in the air. You don't want that at all. That's where he can really, and he does get low of himself, and he will also move in on you like this. So meet him at his level, and if you can get under him, Errol Spence styling, get lower than him and bump him with the shoulder on the inside. And Wilder's, he's agile enough to match that, because he's been a smaller guy as well. So he should be able to drop levels and make sure you mirror Tyson Fury. Sometimes you mirror him on the inside. Even if you can't fight as good as him, mirror him on the inside so he can't get the angle that he wants to get on you. So these are some of the things, a la Bully McGirt. These are some of the little tricks that I hope that Deontay Wilder brings to the table. He's got power, but I'm going to be real with y'all. Tyson Fury knows how to diffuse a guy's power. And just the way how he positions his arm, how he positions his body, he can take away your power from you. Plus he rides and rolls shots. So power don't mean shit in this fight. What's more important in this fight is that Deontay Wilder does the things that he's trained himself to do. If you can get some body shots off on Tyson Fury, that's going to work to your benefit. And those are good things. It's hard to hit Tyson in his body when he covers up, though. But I wish you the best with that, because that can break him down a little bit. If you can get some of those body shots in. Of course, to open him up, you need to feint him. Like you say, dress up the shot and then go to the body. So we'll see if he can do that as well. Tyson, I'm trying to support Deontay Wilder in this regard. That I know it's an uphill battle to beat a guy like Tyson Fury. He's slippery, he's tricky, he's long. He can get him. He can collapse his arms. He can fight on the inside. He can do a lot of things in that ring. So it's tricky to beat a guy like Tyson Fury. And the fact that he has such enormous dimensions, he's like 6'9", and then he's got that really ridiculous long reach. That also is somewhat of an uphill battle, because this dude, he know how to fight on the inside, he know how to fight on the outside. So, and he's kind of awkward, he's kind of herky-jerky. So you don't want to only dictate, because the thing about Tyson Fury, he does, you do want to dictate, but you want him to know he can't just bum rush you like how he did before and just come behind his jab and beat you up. He need to know that you got something waiting for him anytime he closes the distance like that. You want to let him know you're not just coming in on me like that, and you're not treating me like I'm the smaller man just like that and beating me down. Because Tyson Fury's thinking, in his mind, you ain't got nothing new to bring to the table, and you got to surprise him and show him you got a lot more dimension to that. And he's not just going to come in, and if he's going to come in like that, he's going to taste some of your hand. He's going to taste some of your fist and stuff. And you're not looking necessarily to knock him out. You're looking to get your shots in. Get your shots in. Let him know, hey, there's some fire on here. And you letting your shots in. And if in the process you catch him and you knock him out, great. You know, because you can't be going in there looking for a knockout. The knockout will come if you do the right things. It's all about the knockout coming. I mean, you can have passion, you can have zeal, you can have all of that. But at the end of the day, when you go into the ring to fight, it's all about the target. It's all about the stuff that you have to put together now that you've been doing in sparring and you've been doing in different places. Because it's going to come if you just box the dude. If you use the things that you've been doing and drilling and stuff and you apply it, it could come, you know. But I'm not counting on Deontay Wilder knocking out Tyson Fury. What I'm counting on Deontay Wilder doing is breaking him down. That's what I want to see, if he can do that, and see what Tyson Fury has in store. Because we know Tyson Fury is a big warrior, a big heart. You know, you can hit him a big shot on the head. You can bust up his eyes and all of that stuff. He can still fight through all of that. You have to separate his senses from him, or you got to break him down. And even when you're breaking him down, do understand he will switch on a switch and he'll go to another gear on you. So you have to watch for that with Tyson Fury. He's that good. He really is good as a heavyweight. Yes, his size works to his advantage, but I mean, at the end of the day, this is just what Tyson Fury is, and he is difficult to beat. So we will see if Deontay Wilder can bring those things to the table and actually get Tyson Fury in some kind of trouble. And if he does, kudos to him, man. Big props to him. I'm not expecting him. My expectations are not low or anything. I just don't expect him to beat Tyson Fury. But that does not mean that he won't beat Tyson Fury. He might just do that. He might even knock him out. Anything is possible in boxing. What it's going to be is going to be, right? But at the end of the day, I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's going to go to a decision, and again. And I think Wilder's going to be equal to the task, and we'll see who gets the decision ultimately in the end. It's not about who's the better boxer. It's who has the better game plan. And so if Wilder has the better game plan, they are going to win. If Tyson Fury has the better game plan, he's going to win. It's not about sometimes the better boxer does not win the fight. You know, it's all about the game plan. So hopefully Malik Scott got a good game plan for Deontay Wilder, and we'll see. And it'll be strange to see Deontay hands raised because he beat Tyson Fury, maybe dropped him once or whatever, and beat Tyson Fury fair and square using boxing. Maybe not, he's not as good as Tyson Fury in terms of boxing, but he used a proper game plan and he got the victory. Who knows? It might happen that way. But I just wanted to talk a little bit about this because I thought this is a fight that really intrigues me, especially the way how Malik has prepared Deontay Wilder. And I don't see Deontay Wilder folding in any kind of way, shape, or form. So I know he has the heart for what he's doing. I just think that he needed the right direction. And I think he got the right direction from the right guy who had been with him for the longest period of time. And he's also a student of the sport. And I think he got rid of Mark Breland because Mark Breland threw in the towel when Deontay Wilder explicitly told him, don't do that in any of my fights. And Mark Breland did that. So I think that Deontay Wilder took on Malik Scott because of that. And he said, Wilder said other crazy, stupid, crazy things about Mark Breland, which he could have just left alone. He could have just said, we got a code. Don't throw in the towel with me. I understand what I'm doing in the ring. And that would have been enough. He didn't need to go into whether Breland doped his water or whatever. Malik Scott is definitely a scientist at heart. And I know this because of what he said concerning Barry Robinson, also concerning boxing in general. And I see now I understand what he was doing with Deontay Wilder. I do think that this is going to be a much better fight. It might even be a closer fight than the fight they had, the first fight, which they called a draw, which I thought Tyson Fury won hands down. But I don't think this is going to be that kind of fight. I think that Deontay Wilder is actually going to add much more to his table. Let me see if Tyson Fury can neutralize that. And let's see if they have to make adjustments as they go along in the fight to each other. Because Wilder's had 2 fights to get acquainted with Fury. By now, he's somewhat acquainted with Fury. I'm not saying that he understands everything that Fury is doing, but I'm sure he can give feedback to Malik Scott, and Malik Scott can work off of that feedback and know exactly what needs to be done from there on in. Because he's faced Fury now twice. Tyson Fury has faced him twice as well, and had the better of him for the majority of both fights. So for Tyson Fury, he has a pretty good idea what Wilder brings to the table. So that's what makes this fight very interesting, because obviously I'm not going to go picking against Fury. I'm just not going to do it, because he's a boxer. That's what boxers do. They gather data on other boxers, and so they're very much they very much know what to expect concerning the other boxers. Maybe the other boxer surprises them with something extra new, but nothing that they ain't seen before, right? So some people think that Tyson Fury is going to finish Deontay Wilder faster. I don't think so. I think Wilder's going to show some more dimension to himself that he didn't have in the first fight and in the second fight, but which he had in successive fights before. Hopefully he can put it together in a proper way. And I think it's going to be a good fight between him and Tyson Fury. I really do. I think it's going to be one of those great fights. I think that, I'm going to be honest with you guys, I think the top two heavyweights in the heavyweight division right now are Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. And if Tyson Fury wasn't there, Deontay Wilder would probably be the top heavyweight. I think Deontay Wilder beats Anthony Joshua, even though Anthony Joshua is also a scientist himself. I think he beats Anthony Joshua, even though, I'm still kind of sketchy on it, because I'm going to tell you this. Anthony Joshua is a scientist. I'm going to tell you that. So I'm not ruling out Anthony Joshua from beating Alexander Usyk even. He is a scientist. He's learning on the job, and he gets his feet wet. Sometimes he loses a fight. He reminds me of Joe Gans. Joe Gans might lose a fight, but he's going to sit down on the drawing board now that he experienced everything and took in everything, and he's going to work out a formula to beat this dude. That's the kind of guy that I think we're watching, a modern Joe Gans in Anthony Joshua. In terms of Alexander Usyk, again, another magician up in there. And, when we talk about the heavyweight division, we got some interesting characters in there. Dillian White, who he been clamoring for a shot. Give me my shot at my title, man. Give me my shot at my title. He been on the outside like Terrence Crawford, crying out, "Hey, man, I want my shot." So he's funny in that respect. He's had his hiccups, ups and downs and stuff. But he's been coming through and winning his fights. I don't know if he'll get past Otto Wallen, but hey, he's been clamoring for a shot at the title. So we'll see if he finally gets a shot at the title. Maybe undisputed title he might be looking at. You never know. If he waits long enough, he might get his shot. So we'll see. I mean, he's going through some tough guys. Every single guy he faces is a tough challenge. So Otto Wallen's the next guy. We'll see if he or Otto Wallen gets the shot. So we'll see. But in the heavyweight division, we got Luis Ortiz. Nobody's facing this dude. They talk about he's old. Deontay Wilder brought it up. I brought it up a number of times. And this is why I said Deontay Wilder is that dude, because he's been facing guys nobody wanted to face. Nobody wanted to face Luis Ortiz. He took on Luis Ortiz twice. Ain't nobody want to face Luis Ortiz to this day. Nobody wants to face Luis. He's one of the most ducked fighters. Joshua's not calling for him. I know he got knocked out twice, but still, he fought after that, I think, and he won his fight. And Ortiz is not knocking out anybody these days either. But, man, nobody want to face him. Andy Ruiz was talking about facing him. He's not facing old Luis Ortiz. We had who else called out Luis Ortiz and said, "Oh, I don't have a problem facing Luis Ortiz." I think it was Anthony Joshua. He said, "I don't have a problem facing Luis," and he had faced Luis Ortiz. So I'm just saying, Luis Ortiz is a very avoided fighter, and he's old. Yeah, sure, he's old, but he's an avoided fighter, and I want to see Luis Ortiz in there mixing it up with these guys. Yeah, I want to see him. A lot of people want to see Luis Ortiz with anybody. Nobody's facing him though. You know what I mean? So good props to Deontay Wilder. I think Wilder is a very good fighter. Tyson Fury is not going to end his career. If Wilder loses, he's going to lose in a manner that is very decent. He's going to be a worthy opponent. I think Tyson Fury at the end of the fight is going to congratulate him and say, "You know what, man? You were a hell of a champion, a true warrior. You a real deal." And if he beats Tyson Fury, he could prove it without a doubt. So it doesn't really matter whichever way. I think he's going to get his complete respect. And I think that's what boxing's all about. He said some wacky ass things though in between, but I think he's going to get back his respect. That's just doing that, and that's all you want. You want an exciting fight. You want a tactical fight. You want a fight where guys get their respect back and people respect them. And that's all that matters. You know, and so either way, I think he's going to be respected at the end of this fight. I don't think Tyson Fury's going to dust him. I don't think so. I don't think so. Maybe a lot of people else think so. I don't see it. I don't see it happening. I see this fight going to decision. I said that for the last fight, the second fight, and I was wrong. But this one, I really truly believe will go to decision, and I think that Deontay Wilder's going to get his respect from Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury's going to respect him because he's not just a guy with a right hand. Even though in the heavyweight division, it's mostly the right hand these guys use anyway. Tyson Fury was using the right hand. He put down Deontay Wilder with the right hand. You know what I mean? He was hitting him with right hands. So I never understood it. I never understood it. Oh, Deontay Wilder, all he got is right hands. I'm like, but that's the thing with the heavyweights. Heavyweights, that's what they do. They throw right hands. What are you talking about? That's their thing. I never quite understood it, but it is what it is. What you need. Out, man. Deuces to everybody. Shout out to, again, Straight Fighter. Straight Fighter, shout out to you, brother. We're going to talk a little bit more soon enough. I'm going to catch you guys later. What you need out. Don't forget, you can also donate via Western Union MoneyGram. And if your donations are too small, don't worry about it. Wait 2-3 weeks, maybe a month, and then you can donate to Western Union MoneyGram. Just let me know, bro. All right. We're going to try and make sure we get something set up so you can donate online. And when we're streaming or whether we're doing streams or videos or whatever, you can donate online just by pressing the donation button. And I'm going to hook up a, what you call it, the Patreon. I'm getting a Patreon set up. So don't worry. It's all coming down. We're going to get it all done. I've been troubleshooting it and thinking about the solution to the problem, and we're going to get a solution so you guys can donate to my channel. I know I have subscribers here who want to donate to my channel, and I know also, even though there are not as many likes or views that I see on my channel, because YouTube doesn't always give you the information. I know my videos go around, and I'm so very happy about that. I'm just happy if some way, shape, or form I am benefiting this community, this boxing community. I'm gonna talk a little bit about Bob Arum too. I really got nothing personal against Bob Arum. Hell of a guy in terms of this man is 80-something years old and ticking sharp and strong. He says controversial things to get sound bites. I know that. Also, shout out to Don King, who's still alive as well and doing his thing as well. Shout out to Don King. The OGs in the business should be cherished. I just think sometimes that they outlive their usefulness in the business. But, it's nice to see OG still heading the business. I'm talking about this man could be my grandpa. You know what I'm saying? Bob Arum and Don King, they still around. And I'm so happy for them. And shout out to Bob Arum. I usually say fuck Bob Arum, but shout out to Bob Arum. No malice or hatred personally with the man. I don't know the man like that. I thought he kind of hurt boxing in many ways, but I see Bob Arum working with the PBC. I see Bob Arum working with DAZN. Bob Arum's just started to open up the floodgates and is working with everybody, and this is just great. I mean, I just wish Bob Arum was that way all the time. You know what I mean? He's working with everybody right now. Maybe it's the position Top Rank is in or something. I don't know what it is, but Bob Arum just suddenly is working with everybody. And the Wilder versus Fury fight, again, it's great. I mean, the fact that even Fox is hosting it right now instead of ESPN is great as well. Sometimes ESPN do it, sometimes Fox do it. I like that. I just like to see collaborations. To me, collaborations are the ultimate, because when we see promoters and businesses and networks, stations and stuff work together, it's the best thing in the world, man. it's the best thing in the world. I think it just leads to better and bigger and better things overall. But I mean, I would love to see more of that happen. And so I'm just happy that Bob Arum is doing that and making these fights possible. I think the fighters have more to do with it than anything else. I think Deontay Wilder pressing for this fight, I think I made it a possibility. And that's why, I have mad props for Deontay. Deontay is taking on the best heavyweight in the heavyweight division right now. Some people will say Usyk, but I don't think so. I think Tyson Fury is the best heavyweight in the division. And he's like going straight up on him. He's like, I don't want no tune-up fight. I don't want none of that shit. I want you. And mad props to Deontay Wilder once again for that. Say what you want about him. This man be taking on the biggest challenges. Think about this. Nobody else has tried to take on Tyson Fury. I mean, Anthony Joshua, after Wilder stepped to Fury, Anthony Joshua was talking about wanting a fight with Fury, right? This is after Fury beat him, right? But think about this. Deontay Wilder's taking on the biggest, baddest guys in the division. We're talking about Tyson Fury beat Vladimir Klitschko, came up, faced Deontay Wilder. This is after Wilder faced Luis Ortiz. Come on out, all right? Faced him twice, and then Wilder's taking on Tyson Fury again. That's some balls. He got balls. And say what y'all want. I know this guy Wilder's gonna be around for a little while. I know he says he's gonna retire after he gets undisputed, but he's gonna be around for a little while. And he definitely will become undisputed. When exactly, I don't know, but he will become undisputed. All right, he a bad man. And Tyson Fury special, and he's a bad man too. But I'm just saying, mad props to Deontay Wilder on taking this fight. Mad props on Deontay Wilder on getting himself in order so that what happened in the second fight will be forgotten in the third fight. Mad props to Deontay Wilder. Malik Scott, man, he knows his boxing. Malik Scott knows his boxing, so I ain't worried about them too. And with Tyson Fury, well, we know Tyson Fury is the best out there. Did Tyson Fury cheat at any point in time in boxing? Absolutely. He fought. He had Stan Zonzalal or whatever the hell he had in the system before the Klitschko fight. So yeah, he cheated. But he's not cheating right now. We're pretty sure about that. And so let's just get it on. Let's get it on in boxing. And let's see what Tyson Fury brings to the table. Let's see what Deontay Wilder brings to the table. Both of them colorful characters. I hope they become friends after this fight somehow, some way. And they're gonna make themselves hopefully a lot of money. I hope this fight generates more revenue than the first two, because this is a trilogy. We get a trilogy out of this, so hopefully it generates more money. It's gonna be a hell of a fight. So I really hope that people tune into this fight. And if I can't pay for it, if I have enough money to pay for it, I'll pay for it this weekend, because this is a barn burner, man. This is one you wanna still see it. You wanna see what, because it's almost like a soap opera. Guys got fired, and jobs, heads rolled, and jobs were lost, and all kinds of excuses came out the table. And then there was the intrigue of Tyson Fury and the glove gate thing, and it was just a whole soap opera. So now we're going to see what's the result of this, how the grand finale of this whole thing ends. I know there are a lot of people rooting for Wilder to knock out Fury, and I guess some people don't like Fury. I like Fury. So I'm unapologetic. I like Tyson Fury, but I also like Deontay Wilder. I like both of them. And, I just want to see a good fight, first and foremost. And the second thing I want to see is that both guys at the end of the fight, hopefully that they can look at each other and all of that malice and spite is all over because the trilogy's over. So hopefully at the end. In the meantime, I know both guys like each other. They just talk and fight and talk because all they've been doing is watching each other and just menacing, and they're going in there to kill each other if they can. I'm not joking. They literally want to kill each other. So that's way that goes down. But at the end of it, hopefully, at the end, once the dust has settled and the results are in, hopefully they can be good buddies, man, because they really they made good money with each other, first of all, and then second of all, uh, you know, there's no need for animosity and hate, when the settles and clears. And I think that both of them just so fantastic in their own ways. It's just that I just hate that Deontay Wilder gets this bad rep. Everybody's like, he can't box and he can't do this and blah, blah, blah. No, he can box. He can box, and you're going to see it. You're going to see it for yourself, and you're going to understand why, he is what he is. So, hopefully he gets the redemption that he deserves. And I hope that the fight goes to the distance. I hope it goes the distance for that reason. That people will realize Deontay Wilder is not just a knockout artist. That he is a good boxer. And I hope he's surprised as Tyson Fury with a couple things. And we'll see. We'll see. I do think that this fight will have a couple knockdowns in it. So it's going to be an exciting fight. I think it's going to be an exciting fight. And I wouldn't be surprised if Deontay Wilder drops Tyson Fury. And Tyson Fury has to get back at him and drop him, or something like that. So it's going to be a good fight. It might even end up in a draw, a legitimate draw. It might even end up that way. So we don't know. It's one of those fights where, it's going to be good. It's going to be a good fight, and so I'm hoping for the best for both guys. I like both guys. I like Wilder. I like Tyson Fury. To be honest with you, I like both of them. So it's a fight where even though I predicted Tyson Fury would win, mainly because he had the better Wilder in both fights, right? The majority of both fights, he had the better of Wilder, in my opinion, right? But to say that one is a greater star than the other, or that one guy is a better boxer. Well, Fury's a better boxer than Wilder, but even so, that one would dominate the other or something like that. I don't think so. I think that if push came to shove, especially now that they both know each other, I think that Fury would probably win most of the fights, but Wilder wouldn't be that far behind. He would be catching up bit by bit by bit and getting better and better and better. And I think it would make him a much more all-rounded boxer just fighting Tyson Fury. And I think, like Tyson Fury said, there'll be nobody to beat Wilder after this trilogy. If Tyson Fury beats Wilder, probably the last time Wilder would get beat ever in his career. If he were to go on a fight, and let's say Tyson Fury fought a couple fights and then afterwards he retired or whatever, I think Wilder would take the throne. I think Wilder would be the next guy. So that's the way I think about it. And if Wilder was to beat Tyson Fury, for example, let's say he beats Tyson Fury, I think, well, Usyk would be a tough challenge, but I think he has a better approach. I think he would have a better approach against Usyk than Anthony Joshua had recently against Usyk, because from what I see, and remember, Luis Ortiz is an excellent southpaw. From what I've seen how he faced Luis Ortiz, I think he has the right approach to dealing with southpaws. Like I said before, and I said it before, I'm gonna say it again. I think he has the right approach. Now he'd have to refine certain things, and he'd have to get his precise footwork even in line with what needs to be done. But by and large, he has the right idea of how to face a southpaw. I think he has a better idea of how to face a southpaw than Anthony Joshua did. He was more clueless to me against Usyk than I think Wilder would be against Usyk. I'm not saying he would beat Usyk. I'm not saying he would stop Usyk or anything like that. But I'm just saying Usyk would have to pull more tools out of the tool bag to handle Deontay Wilder. He would have to do a lot more than he did against Anthony Joshua. That's for sure. And it would be probably a lot more competitive a fight to some degree in terms of when Wilder hurts Usyk, he really coming, right? Whereas with Anthony Joshua, he hurt Usyk once or twice and didn't really follow through with it the way how he should have. Not to say that Usyk, even though he gets hurt, he doesn't know what to do when he gets hurt. So that's another story for another day. But this is great heavyweight division. It's heated up. It was a boring division for a while under the Klitschko's. Even though we had Chris Bird up in there, we had Shannon Briggs up in there, we had one or two really good fighters up in there. But now it's starting to heat up. Now we're seeing more talent and different styles of talent and different just ways of doing things. So we'll see what happens, man. I'm what you need. I'm going to catch you guys later. Don't forget, you can subscribe, share, and comment. I'll try to keep my videos. I'll try and put out some short videos. They'll be like 1 minute to 30 seconds highlighting certain things. And then that's it, right? I'm trying to do some shorter videos because my streams are pretty long. And some of you guys don't want to stick around for long streams. Some of you guys do want to stick around for longer streams. So, the streams are going to be long, but the videos, they're going to be very short. All right? Catch you guys later. Peace. Oh, before I go, first video of the day always has scripture. So let me drop a piece of scripture on you guys. This one I like. All right? I like this one because we're not perfect people. I think it's found in 1 John. It's found in 1 John. And it says, it goes, I'm trying to remember how it goes. All right, I'll just do the part that I remember. So, for he is faithful and just to forgive us our sins or shortcomings and cleanse us from our iniquities. I like that verse of scripture particularly today, because no matter what situation you find yourself in during today, whether it's a compromising situation or whether it's straight up you chose to do it and you screwed up, God is willing to help you reverse your situation. Okay? He's willing to also forgive. And forgiveness is something which both God and yourself need to do. You need to be able to forgive yourself. And you also need to be able to forgive other people. And God is willing to forgive you your situation, whatever screw up it is that you have. And not only that, but he's able to purge you from that situation. The purging process sometimes is very unpleasant, but so you don't have to go back and do it again. What I mean by purging or cleansing of iniquity. So cleansing of iniquity means two things. Most people, if you're a Christian, most people think cleansing of iniquity is forgiveness. So he forgave me, so therefore I'm cleansed. Yeah, but it's a process as well. So when you're getting purged of something or cleansed of something, it's where it's very uncomfortable to do it, first of all. Second of all, you find yourself in a position where if you try to do that thing over and over again, there's consequences to it that really make it very unpleasant. Not only the thing you're doing, but also the consequences of them are very unpleasant. And so it deters you from going down that pathway. And so you start to separate yourself from that thing, and you find yourself purging yourself of that thing. So that when he says, when he talks about cleansing us from unrighteousness, it's also a process where we start to, the thing that we were always liked and enjoyed and so on, we start to detest it. Then we start to not want to be doing it. And then the next thing we start to do is we start to move ourselves away from it. We literally start to separate ourselves away from that thing. We don't want to have nothing to do with it, and we're not interested in it anymore, and we just move away from it. And that's a purging, where your body and your mind and your spirit is starting to purge itself from this thing. It doesn't want nothing to do with it. It just moves it away from itself. Okay? So that's a process, and that is a process that the Holy Spirit engineers, where things that you used to have an appetite for or you used to be interested in, you start to lose interest in those things and an appetite for them, and you want other things. that you feel are more nourishing. It's like me with sweets and sugar. So when I eat sweets or sugar, then my body gets lethargic and tired. All of us do. And then I get dehydration. And I start sometimes getting constipation. Or sometimes I get swelling in my joints, my limbs. And I get pains. My cuts don't heal as usual. So I'm like, at first, I love sweet. So I would like splurge on sweet, right? And then I started realizing even if I drink water, these things still have a consequence on my body. So bit by bit, I realized that sweet equaled more problems. And now my body automatically, if I eat something too sweet, instantaneously I get a headache. And that's because psychologically, my body, I know what can come as a result of eating sweet. So my mind and my body and my taste for sweet and those kinds of sweet stuff, it's like I start to get like, nah, I'm not really interested in this. And then all of a sudden I don't even want to eat sweet stuff anymore. Every now and then I like a sweet something, but I really detest it. And so that's the way how your body starts to work, your mind, and it's something where you're moving away from the unpleasantness of something because it's unpleasant. It's like all of this because I did this. So I think that's the purging that happens, and it's a process. So I'd like to say to some of you guys who maybe you have whatever situation you're going through in your life, personal or otherwise, that it does not last if that's not what you desire to have. Desire is what carries us whichever direction we go, even if it's temporary. So if it's something that you really don't desire to do, you don't really enjoy doing anymore, or after you do it, you just hate yourself, whatever, know that that's part of the process. That your body, your mind, your body, your spirit is literally detaching itself from this thing, and you're gradually moving away from it. Because when you completely detach yourself from that thing, you will never go back to it ever again. And it's a process. So don't hate yourself so much to the point where you want to kill yourself or whatever. Understand it's a process. It's very unpleasant, but it's a process, and you will eventually separate yourself from that thing. You will eventually purge from that thing. And that's because of God and God's dealing in life, especially if you guys are Christians or whatever you are. Understand that it's not just you doing these things, but it's literally it is some sort of mindset or ideal, and you're beginning to associate negative things with this thing that you have. Because the one thing about God, He does not leave us ignorant. We don't stay in a state of ignorance with Him. We always learn and we grow daily. And some of this, like in boxing, how it's a doing sport, sometimes you learn by doing. And so it's through the process of doing that you learn. Some people, they don't need that. They learn from other people's bad experiences and they say, I don't go that way. And they go another way, right? Those people are wise. You don't have to experience everything, but some people, they have to walk the road and they have to grind the mill and go through it. Or some people are already entrenched. They already were in that road. They were already in that mill, and now they're trying to come out of it. They're trying to live a different lifestyle in a different way. So, because they saw something so desirable that they want to get at, right? So different people, different walks, different things. But ultimately, in the end, understand it's a process at times. Sometimes it's instantaneous for some people, but for other people, it's a process. And please do not give up because the process doesn't seem to be moving as fast as you think it should be. It will happen. And for various reasons, there are a lot of people who put pressure on you to move faster or slower or whatever, but you have to understand that it's a process, okay? Because why I say these things so many times to whoever may be out there who's dealing with whatever issue they're dealing with. A lot of people are having mental health issues, and I mean, your mental health is only as healthy as you allow yourself to be. All of us have mental health issues. All of us on the planet. All of us. Nobody's perfect, right? All of us have mental health issues. But some of us are able to understand that it's a process through which you can unwind that. If you have, some people have panic attacks, they have anxiety attacks, right? Okay, it's not just going to go away because you have identified it and you want it to go away. It's not just going to go away. It's a gradual process with your body and your mind, and learning how to live through the circumstances which usually cause you to, get triggered and then get you afraid. And it's a gradual process, and you're going to be presented with situations which are going to trigger you, and it's going to cause you to be panicky and to have panic attacks. It's okay. That's part of life. But learn how to ride through the panic attacks, ride through the storm, learn about how you can keep your body in composure while that is happening. I know some people who look very calm on the outside, but inside they're like, ah, right? I know about that too. But it's more important to understand that in every situation that seems extremely overwhelming, or people who trigger you for whatever reason that they may trigger you, do understand that you can control those emotions by simply thinking a thought. And the way how your body conforms is through your mind. So even if the thing is like crazy and you're like, oh, initially you're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. If you just give yourself a second or two and you calm down, you're going to realize that you can think through the situation. You may not solve it. It's not about solving it. It may just be to think through the situation, to be able to get some sort of bearing and sense with it. Okay? And so being calm is a hard thing to do. I always told people, if you want to know who a real man is, a real man stays calm through any situation, right? He remains calm. He may be suffering, he may be crying in pain or whatever, but there's a centrality to him, a calmness. That's a real man. There ain't no way to describe a real man other than that, because that's the solidness of what makes man and manhood what it is. If you can stay calm through a storm, then you can plot a pathway through that storm to safety and navigate other people to safety. You may not make it, the storm may lick you away, but people will be navigated to safety because you are able to stay calm in very, very, very difficult situations. And that's why older men or older guys who have composure, you see, a 50-year-old, 60-year-old guy with a lot of composure, it's because these people have been tested, battle tested, through some things that half of us can't make it through because we're too emotional. So that's the key, staying calm. And it's not very easy to do when you're a flamboyant person and you're very expressive and you like expressing with your emotions, but it is possible to switch on certain parts of you and switch off certain parts of you. And so when you want to get into your creative zone, or you want to get into your expressive zone where you're ready to go to war or battle, there's a way to switch that on, right? And then when it's necessary to be composed and just keep it cool, under any circumstances, it doesn't matter what people do to you or anything, you switch it off, right? So that's the key. It's not about being expressionless or emotionless. If somebody says something very offensive to you, your face may show it, be like, oh man, you felt offended or you felt bad about it. But ultimately, in the end, a calm person stays calm. He's not going to explode. He's not going to cry. He's not going to do some sort of extreme thing. You just it was terrible, and your face may show it. But ultimately, in the end, you take your slap and you're calm with it. And you have to say if you want to say something, you say it very composed and calm. You're not boiling up inside or anything because you don't have that big old ego facade. It did hurt. You acknowledge it hurts. But ultimately, in the end, you're still able to go through that storm composed and calm. And I think that's the key. I mean, that ultimately is the key. And such people are like solid rocks to other people. Like other people will go to them, speak with them, and because of their calm nature, this person's not going to explode on you. They may confront you with certain statements or certain things. They're real people. They stay very honest with you, and they'll ask the tough questions if they have to, but they are calm. These people are not going to attack you. They're not going to beat you up. They're people who are very calm, very centered, very stable people. That's what you want in your life. You want stability. You want somebody that is very stable and very sober in what they translate to you. So that's the key right there. And that's the key to mental health as well, I believe. Calm people. And you can't get it with drugs. You can't get it with medication. It's something where you have to find a place in your psyche or in your mind where you're comfortable being you, regardless of what is happening. You're just very comfortable within your skin. And no matter what happens, no matter what people do, you're comfortable within your skin because you understand what your purpose is, what your role is, and you try to accomplish that. Yeah. All right, people. So that's what I got for you guys. What you need in the building. I'm going to catch you guys later. That, by the way, goes a long way in every aspect of your life. If you can stay steady, calm, and comfortable within yourself. I mean, through and through. I'm not trying to pretend to be calm or pretend to be stable. Just through and through, understanding where you came from, where you are, understanding all these kinds of things and what God has done for you. You're going to be able to translate that into almost any area of life. And you will be very successful at various areas of life because that calmness allows you to think through the situation and see even new ideas and new concepts and new things that you may never have seen before. It helps you to delve into things much more easily as well and much more readily. And, if you're fighting, the best fighters in the world are calm fighters, composed fighters. Guys who can keep their composure under any circumstance and situation that's happening to them. So it really works all around in all aspects of life. So I just thought I'd leave that with you guys, and you guys have a good day.